Yeah, hi, hello everyone. Welcome to today's video. This is Shanmugaraj. We are continuing our journey on standard of program management. Today's topic is program formulation activities, part 2. As you might know already, program activities are categorized into program definition phase activities, program delivery phase activities, and program closure phase activities. I've already delivered some of the videos to get the overview about all these kind of activities. Further, program definition activities are divided into two parts: program formulation activities and program planning activities. So, currently, we are discussing program formulation activities. Initial five activities were discussed as part of part 1. Now, we're going to discuss the last five activities as part of part 2 in this video. So, this particular picture talks about all the 10 activities and how the interaction between the core program activities and program governance. So we're going to discuss about the second part of program formulation activities. So the sixth activity as part of formulation activities we're going to discuss about is program quality assessment, right? So as part of program formulation, you need to ensure that as a program manager that what sort of quality we're going to provide to customer, and what are the different quality assessment we need to take care of it, right? That need to be assessed. So organizational or regulatory quality standards may act as an important constraints on a program delivery, particularly in the case of a compliance program. So you need to understand, is your program is operating within the regulatory, region or regulatory, area. So you need to consider those quality standards. The expectation about the quality of the program outputs may serve as an important input to determine the program cost and required program infrastructure and resources, right? What is the expectation from the customer, like what is the quality they're looking at it, all those things will determine whether the project cost or program cost. So it's definitely a very important input to the cost management planning as well. The ability of program suppliers to comply with the quality standards may be an important consideration for program procurement and risk assessment. You will be in a position to set up a standard as part of program quality standards to the suppliers as well, right? You need to clearly give the indication to them so that they are producing according to your standards, right? So need of quality reviews and audits may also be considered important to enable the program governance. So when you assess how many, what are the phase gate reviews we're looking at, what are the different quality reviews and audit are required, because every audit, every reviews will demand a cost, right? So you need to apply resources, you need to put a staffing, right? If you look at the rework, if you look at that, the amount of root cause analysis, so all those things impact your quality of the program or quality of the deliverables, and other aspects like cost, right? It may even affect employee morale as well, right? So obviously you need to consider what are the factors we need to consider is regulatory standards of external or internal, right? What are the expectations from the customer, what are the expectations you need to set with the suppliers, how many reviews and audits are required, all those things you need to consider as part of assessment. You can give a rough estimate that this program might require this many audits or quarterly audits, something like that. So the output is of this program quality assessment is always on report on program quality assessment, which will be an input to the business case, charter, and program quality management planning during the program planning. So in turn, it will be input to your risk management, it will be input to the cost management, everything, right? So next activity we're going to discuss is program resource requirements estimation. So as part of formulation, you have to provide an estimate of resources. Resources include people, office space, data centers, equipment, software, vehicle, and office supplies. An estimate of the required resources, particularly staff and facilities, which may have a longer lead times or affect ongoing activities, is required to prepare program business case and to be reflected in the program charter. So what they're asking is you need to understand what are the different type of resources as a program manager. People is a resource, office space, facilities, all those things. But at least what are they expecting? At least to put a staff estimation, you put a facility estimation so that it will be a good input to the charter and the business case, right? So the output is going to be program resource requirement estimation. We are going to give an estimate, right? It could be a rough order of magnitude. It could be, you can even provide a confidence as well. My resource estimate, it's at least 90% of confidence level. You need to always refer your, similar programs, your organizational data availability. So all those things you need to check and you can provide it. So this is going to be an input to the business case and charter. Essentially, it will be an input to the program resource management planning during the program planning activities. The next activity I'm going to discuss is the program initial risk assessment. Two aspects of risk should be assessed during the program definition. First, an identification of key risks that the program may encounter and their relative likelihood and impact should be assessed and inputted to the program business case and charter. So you need to put, if you look at any project charter or program charter, we'll have a high level key risks. These are the likelihood of impact of this. These are the anticipated risk at high level, at formulation level, at charter level, right? The second, an assessment of the organization's willingness to accept and deal with the risks, sometimes referred as the risk appetite, is essential in understanding the level of effort that may be required to monitor and assess the risks during the program delivery, right? So now we list down these many risks, can be anticipated during the execution of the program. And second thing is your organization is willing to take the risk. Only when you will kick off the program, otherwise you can abandon it actually, right? So these are the two aspects of risk assessment you need to consider during the program formulation. So the output of this initial risk assessment will have these two parts, which will be an input to the business case charter, as well as it will be input to the program initial cost estimate, program roadmap, as well as program risk management planning. The next item is program schedule assessment. It is an assessment of expectation for a delivery dates and the benefits milestone. So a simple roadmap or a high level schedule will tell you that, when we are going to deliver what is the benefits realization at that point of time. So the initial assessment also should state the level of confidence in the assessment of activity durations. So let's say you are putting release 1 in 3 months. What is your confidence level? You may say that I have 80% of confidence that looking at the dependencies and assumption, as a program manager, you can always say that I can complete these features or these epics in release 1 with 80% of confidence, and identify where alternative activities could be initiated if activities run into excessive delays. And that also you can have a backup or cover up, your what do you call contingency planning you can put in place, right? So the output of this activity is program schedule assessment, right, which will have high level schedule and it's the confidence level, which is going to be input to the program business case charter roadmap, program schedule management planning. So it will be input to the program cost management plan as well, because when you run a project in T&M model, right, obviously the more the time, more the resources will be consumed. So the final activity that I'm going to discuss as part of formulation activities is the program scope assessment. Scope management aligns the program scope to its goals and objectives, right? So when you need to define a boundary actually. So based on the benefits we are going to plan and how it's aligned to the strategic objectives, right? So according to that, you can define your scope management. An assessment of program scope, which include boundaries, links to other programs and projects, and ongoing activities to be part of program charter. So you need to understand what is the boundary to be very clearly set to support initial cost, resource, risk, and schedule assessment. So the initial program scope assessment develops program scope statement from program goals and objectives. So from program goals and objectives, actually we can take inputs from the business case actually, and then you can create program scope assessment. That this is the you can even provide a confidence level that you can anticipate that changes can be 20%, 10%. That also you can put it actually. So the output of this Program scope assessment is the program scope assessment report, which is going to be input to the program charter. With that, we have come to the conclusion of today's video, which is program formulation activities part 2. So with that, we are completing our discussion on program formulation activities. Hope you got a fair idea about what are the different activities involved in program formulation. And essentially, it involves assessments and estimates, which is going to be a crucial input to the planning and implementation scenarios. Right? Hope you guys like this video. If you like this, please subscribe this channel and like this video so that it will be beneficial to the people who wants to pursue career in program management. I can reach out to many people, right? So it will be helpful to them as well, right? So with that, I'm signing off today. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye. See you in next video.